What is up, podcast land? Welcome to another episode of the Two Dates and a Dash podcast. I'm your host, Matt Cubbler. Before I introduce you to these two guys, first of all, this might be one of the most special podcasts I've ever done in the 105 now that I've done. And we'll get into the reasons why, but when this is over, you guys are going to understand why. So before I introduce Nick and Frank, I want to first tell everybody where they can hear the podcast. Pretty much anywhere, iTunes, iHeart, Pandora, Stitcher, Spotify, Google Podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts, you can hear the Two Dates and the Dash podcast. Want to learn more about me, Matt Cubbler, you go to mattcubbler.com, and that's where you're going to learn more about my book, My Brother's Love of Memoir. It's a book I wrote about my brother Andy, who was autistic and had a severe stutter and sadly died in a car accident in 1989. But this book is my tribute to my brother and my life with him, and the single greatest accomplishment of my life. And that's kind of how this whole thing started, was a relationship I had with Frank and him reading my book and sharing me his friendship with Nick. And this is a culmination of that. And there's just so many great things about to happen for Nick and Frank. And I'm just happy to have them both on the show today. So without further ado, Nick, Frank, thank you for being on the show today.
You're welcome, dude.
Frank,
yeah, thanks for having us, Matt.
So give a little backstory for everybody. Frank and I met in like 2010-ish time frame. We were both involved with a pro boxer, and we became friends through that. And we both appreciated each other's way that we handled our business and our lives and our personal lives, and things just sort of evolved from there. And we've sort of just stayed connected throughout each of our highs and lows, and it's just been a really good friendship to have. And then over the course of the last, 10 years or so, I've learned a lot about Nick, and I've heard a lot about some funny stories about Nick, but we've never had a chance to meet until just shortly before we started recording. And I'm really excited, Nick, to hear about all that you have going on with Nick Lightning, your stage name. We'll keep it at Nick Lightning because I think people need to know you as who you truly are, and that's Nick Lightning. Mm-hmm. And I think the world needs to know more about autism, understanding how it's not a disability, but a special ability, and how what you do in the world and how you make people smile and how you make people happy, that's the thing that the world needs to hear more of. And we're going to talk about how that's going to be coming down the pike and all that. But before we get started, I ask all my guests one question, and I'll start with you, Nick. And it's a pretty broad question, and how you answer it is completely up to you, and there's no wrong answer. But who is Nick Lightning?
Well, Nick Lightning is a person who lives his life through music, just being on the stage, acting like an ass, and basically getting away with it. So, but Nick Lightning also is a champion for all the rockers, heavy metal people. I carry the flag banner for that genre of music. And any little boy bands or little sissy girl bands want to step in front of me, I kick them where it counts, and then I take their names.
That's rock and roll right there, brother. That's rock and roll. Frank, I'm going to ask you the same question. Who is Frank Petka?
Wow, that's a tough one to follow with Nick. I'm a regular blue-collar 9-to-5 guy. Have been my whole life growing up in the city in Philly. Was fortunate enough to start a special relationship with Nick at a rec center in Philly, probably almost 30 years now. When we first met, and Nick's just part of my family. He's my brother. I'm married with two boys, and he's Uncle Nick, and he's my brother, and just living every day, learning from Nick, really, and just trying to be kind and just have a positive impact on everyone around me that I come in contact with. And it's just a way of life for me, and that's why Nick and I connect so well.
Wow. There's so many things I want to talk about, and there's so many personal things that relate to me and my relationship with my brother that I'm sure are going to transfer into this conversation. And, before the show, Nick and I were talking before you came on, Frank, and found out that, he was born in June. My brother was born in June. He's a wrestling fan. My brother was like the biggest wrestling fan on the planet.
Cool.
Just all the similarities. And I told him, it's almost like I'm talking to my brother a little bit here. So I may get choked up a little bit. But Nick, explain to me, if you can remember back to the first time you met Frank. Do you remember what that was like?
Yes, I do. It was, I think, in the early 2000s. Frankie could back me up. We're at it was Houston Playground, and we had a senior hockey league. And at the time, it was supposed to be on his orange shirts. We had shirt colors, not team names, but shirt colors. And Frankie's team was always the white team. We had the orange shirts, but the guys who were supposed to be on the white team never showed up. And so Mr. Carberry, who was the rec leader, who knew me and knew my family, said to Frankie, would you mind taking him for one night till we could get him a team? And after that one night, like he said, it started a reship forever, and I'm so blessed to have him in my corner. He's my rock. He's my commandant. He's my biggest supporter, and he makes sure that I stay centered and I don't go crazy.
When you live the life of a rock star, man, it's got to have somebody to keep you centered. That's always one of the biggest, because you could get off into the whole, banging hookers, doing blow off hookers' asses. You don't want to go down that road. Like, nobody wants that.
He might.
Bad road.
Whoa, Matt. No, that's not. I'm not that kind of rocker.
Okay, go to Frank. We'll keep you rock solid.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Is that about how you remember it, Frank?
Not really, Matt. And I've had this conversation so many times with Nick, but he goes back to what he just said, and that's fine. I remember being up the playground, and there was a lot of different teams, so a lot of different games. So you got to see the game before you when you're up there waiting. And it maybe happened like 2 weeks in a row where Nick was like, they had him in goal, and he was just getting
very soft.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't even have the right equipment on, right? So he's getting like just bombarded with shots, and he's not as quick and nimble as he may think he is, but it was just ugly. And there was just a lot of a lot of bad things being said to him, like calling him different things. And so I was like, I got to find out what the deal is with this guy. And then I went to the guy running the rec, and I asked him, and he explained a little bit background on Nick. And I was like, all right, well, he's on my team now. That's the end of this shit, because my biggest pet peeve, and it always will be, is someone being taken advantage of. I can't stand it. I can't tolerate it. Like, I just lose it. It doesn't matter if it's my wife or if it's somebody down the street who I never met. When I see that stuff, it just infuriates me. And it's just like, I don't know, like a switch just flips in my head, and I just get a little bit nuts. So basically that's what I saw. And then I said, he's on my team. And then that's how it started. And he was on my team every year. I don't know how many years in a row, but we won, championship after championship. And it was really cool. And got to know Nick a lot, got to know his parents, his sister. Tried to date
my sister.
I dated his sister. And she passed up a great opportunity. I'd say she blew that one. But anyway, just really got to know who he was. And I feel like we were together so much, especially before I got married. Like, Nick was pretty much at my house every day, at my condo in Manayunk, just like living there. I mean, he would go out and go to every party with us, and he would after party. And I'm like, I drink, I go to sleep pretty much. But a couple of our other buddies that were into some of the heavier shit, Nick would hang out, man. Nick's out till 3, 4 in the morning, and Nick doesn't do drugs. Nick doesn't take pills. Nick doesn't drink. When he drinks, which sometimes we're like, come on, Nick, have a beer. It's the worst thing, because he just totally goes like, he's the opposite of what like we are when we drink. Like, we drink, get rowdy, start feeling good. Nick shuts down. Like, he's like a boring ass zombie when he drinks. So we don't want that. We don't want that. That's right. But yeah, man, that's my recollection of it. And the friendship just continues to grow. He's with us on every holiday. He's part of the family. And it just, the pandemic has been awful, because this is like a full year. I haven't actually seen him. He drove up a few times. We did like the drive-by honking birthdays for my sons, and he was able to participate in that. And I think you may have stopped up, Nick, around Christmas, maybe with Mom. I think maybe it wasn't this year.
No, it was Halloween.
Oh, Halloween. Okay, yeah. So like very, very little to no interaction. Nick's respectful of his mom's wishes, to be careful with the COVID thing. And Nick is also a chicken shit and refuses to get the shot, because he's a tough rock star, but he's scared of needles. So figure that out.
I already told him that.
Oh, well, I'm telling him again. So how do you like that?
All right. So I like that, Nick. I like that a lot. So here's a little bit of a backstory with my brother and me. I was 3 years younger than my brother, but I was his protector. I fought his battles for him from the time I was like 7 or 8 years old. I was getting in daily fist fights. We lived in low income projects, and obviously, Nick, you've been through the bullying and all that stuff, so you know what that's like. But and kind of like you, Frank, I can't stand when somebody makes fun of somebody or puts somebody down or bullies them. And to this day, that's part of the reason why I'm a cop. That's why I mentor kids. That's why I do all the stuff I do, because I always want to help those that don't have a voice or can't defend themselves. So I can truly appreciate your relationship with him, Frank, and Nick's appreciation for the things that you do in his life, and that he's part of my family. I always told my wife that had my brother lived, he'd probably be living with us. Like there was no doubt in my mind that my brother would, wherever I went, my brother would be. And there was never any doubt that that was the way our life was going to be. And that's part of the sadness, is that never got a chance to happen. So I'm happy to hear that there's someone sort of living vicariously, that I can live vicariously through, and that's you two.
Oh, heck yeah, man. No, that's great. I do want to ask you this, though, which may or may not be a difference between Nick and your brother. Nick actually would instigate a lot of stuff. Like once he got on our team, his mouth was running. You suck. He's standing next to the goalie telling him he sucks. Like, I mean, we would have Nick stand right here, put your stick down. We're winning 8-0 or whatever. I'm just going to lay one over to you and just throw it home. And he would do it. Then he would put his stick in the holster, and skate around, shoot at people. Like he was just like a real son of a gun, man. Instigate. And then like we would go after guys because they would go after him then and hit him, cheap shot him. They're like, what do you want us to do? I'm like, well, it doesn't matter. You can't touch him. It doesn't matter what he does. Just deal with it. And so I don't know if you're.
No, my brother, sadly, he stuttered. And when I say stuttered, it was like his eyes would roll in his head, his face would contort. He couldn't get sentences out. So his ability to talk shit didn't happen.
Okay. I did too. I had stuttering as a kid too. But here's the funny thing. This is how I stopped it. I was in the private high school called Vanguard. It was the best school in my life. I had a music teacher named Miss Claus. No relation to Santa. Okay?
Oh, God help me.
That's a real name. I'm not BSing.
Thank you, Nick.
So one day she said, well, we're going to try a new technique they're teaching us to help stutter kids. So this is the start of Nick Lightning, actually, the real start. One day she took me into the music room. She sat me on the chair and she said, we're going to listen to this Richard Marx song. So I'll always be there for you. Dun, 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 dun. I'll always be there for you. Like his hit song. So she sat me there in a chair and said, all right, I'm going to get you the lyrics. We're going to go together. So as I started singing I started stop stuttering and stuttering. So all through that time period, I started to sing songs in my head to help me stop stuttering, and I don't stutter anymore. So I think
that's brilliant, because my brother could sing. My brother could sing in church without stuttering.
Wow.
He could read from the Bible without stuttering.
Awesome.
But he couldn't have a conversation ever without stuttering, and he couldn't read like homework or any other written something he was told to read. He couldn't. But whatever it was about singing in church and reading the Bible were the two times that you would have never known he had a stutter. But I love the fact that that's how you started Nick Lightning. And I think part of probably, and this is just a guess, how you overcame stuttering in all aspects of your life was that you really took to the musical component of how it helped you not stutter. And then you grew that into a stage performance, which, if you can get up on stage and do what you do, stuttering is the least of your worries, right? It's you're out there performing, you're getting lost in the music and in the moment, in the persona of Nick Lightning, that probably helped with your confidence.
Well, it did help with my confidence, because I'll tell the truth, when I first started, a lot of people think it was just a joke. I was just a comedy act. Like, I started on Jamestown Street, where I used to live, here in Roxborough. And I used to do this on my porch, or on my porch, sing on my porch with headphones on. And my dad at first was one of the people that were like, I'm trying to sleep, stop this nonsense. He's the first one who did not think it was a good idea. But on the flip side, he was always in my musical life. He took me to guitar lessons. He tried to give me guitar lessons twice. And now he's my world's biggest fan. But when I began and the way things happened, it's just funny as heck. Because it's really like he's seen the good in it. And that's after like about a year and a quarter of it, like he's like this, like looking like, what are you doing? And my mom first didn't understand me either, did Nick Lightning. She is the one, and she can hear what I'm saying. She's right over watching TV. She can hear what I'm saying. So she's the one that helps me with my stage gear, my outfits, all my like my light setups and all my decorations basically.
Mom's your roadie.
Kind of, yeah, but then the real roadies are Miss Frankie's father-in-law, Mr. Frank Starbin, who is now my head of stage design. Frankie is my head.
Wait, hold on, man. I'm gonna have to stop this bullshit right here. He set up for 2 concerts out of 30. How the hell is he your head stage guy?
Because I'm Nick freaking Lightning. I mean,
that's why.
Guy.
Fine. That's
Nick,
fine.
Nick Lightning calls the shots, dude. You're not
hey,
shit.
Hey, Matt, check this out. Oh, he's good one time. He admitted this in the movie. He has his Wendy's vodka and his cheeseburger sitting at my freaking sound table.
I pretty much need alcohol to cope when I'm with you, including right now.
I love you too.
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you this. So just so we can give everybody a clear picture of what we're talking about. What is a Nick? First of all, what is your talent? Like, what is it that you do other than being you, being this flamboyant rock star? I mean, I for those of you who don't know, he keeps referencing the movie. Frank was part of his group, his team put together a documentary. I don't know what the is. Yeah. Documentary on Nick. And I saw a piece of it, and it's fucking brilliant.
Thank you.
And I've seen the movie, so I know what a Nick Lightning show looks like. But you're not actually playing any instruments, right?
Right. It's all air stuff. Air keys, air guitar.
Are there drums?
Yes, occasionally I'll pull them out.
Okay.
Occasionally. I might, my next concert, I might pull them out again. I don't know. I'm like as fluent with the wind, basically. It depends, I feel like. And I love Frankie for 2 reasons. A, because he can put up with my shit and I can get away with it sometimes. And also, it keeps me centered during the pressure situations of the show. When I'm backstage getting ready, I'm like all like scatterbrained. I'm trying to get ready. Frank comes back and says, Nick, calm down. You got this. You're good. Are we good with the set list? Just yell off to the stage and we'll start working with it. So, as I say, he is such a good sound guy because he is very good at taking my crap. And off stage, sometimes we chat back and forth off the stage, me and him. But that's why I love this guy so much. That's why I go to bat for him and everybody else. They're my circle of friends.
I always say everybody's going to have their 5. And I call it my 5, like your squad, right?
Yeah.
And for me, it's 5 people that I can call, and they will not ask a question when I say, I need you to come and bury a body. And if those 5 people,
whoa, you're
cops,
a cop.
They won't ask any questions. They'll just do and then leave. And those are my 5. Those are my ride or die. And I can probably tell that Frank's in your 5.
He's in my top 5, number 1.
That's
really?
It.
Yes, you always been, dude.
Well, what I'll say too about these performances too, Matt, to give folks a better idea. He runs them like a concert. So there's music playing. So it's almost like it's sort of like a karaoke because the music levels, like we'll try to keep it low. He sets up the sound list. He practices. He spends he puts in 6 months. So like he'll take off. Yeah. 6 months after his show, and then he's in 6 months. He goes to that wherever he's going to perform, whatever rec center, and he runs through it all. He spends hours a day, and it's just like to hone his craft to make sure he's ready. And he's always ready, and he always performs up to snuff. Being his sound guy, though, he challenges me with, I normally don't even really get the play, and he'll have like a 30-song playlist. Like, I'm like, dude, you got to cut this down. Like, how about
20.
how about we cut it to 20? How about we cut the songs from 3 minutes to like 45 seconds? Because I don't know, sometimes people can get lost, and we want to change things around. But he has such a diverse, I guess, love of music that he'll have like Cher. He'll do a Cher song, and then he'll switch to like Iron Maiden or so. Like, he's all over the grid. So like putting together a sound list and so a lot of the concerts, people have no fucking idea what they're listening to. Like, even me, I'm like, God, like I can see people like, what the, like the first like 30 seconds is high energy. It's cool. He's going, he's like, he'll mostly like lip stuff, and he'll sing too. He'll mostly actually sing over. If he doesn't know the words, he'll mumble through it sections, but he'll sing over it. And it's fun. It's entertaining. Like, you just have to love it. It's a show. You don't know what he's going to do. I don't know if he fell off the stage. You definitely sliced your leg open. You're bleeding all over the place.
Yeah.
Jumping off the speakers. His guitar strings get caught in his wigs. Like, there's all shit that happens. He walks through the crowd. He interacts with the crowd. He sung to his mom, sung to his sister. He does dedications to the crowd. Like, you just never know what you're going to get. And I've been telling him probably for 10 years, like, why don't we cut it down a little bit and do some things different? And he's always like, oh, okay. But then he always does his thing. And that's cool. Like, he's going to do his thing. Everybody accept it. And we just have so much great footage of him with his shows. And there's so much that we couldn't squeeze into the documentary. There's just so much, but it was hard to fit it in. So maybe there'll be a place for it somewhere else.
Nick, are you a diva?
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. Is that a question for Nick?
Every day, every time.
Here's what I love. I love the fact that you're not playing a single instrument, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're not singing a song like that. There's someone, the actual recording artist, Bon Jovi or whoever. We'll talk about him in a little bit. Singing in the background. You're either lip syncing or singing over it. And yet you still turn it into the single greatest event. Like, it defies logic how you can get so many people energized when you're not actually playing an instrument, you're not actually singing the song by yourself, but you put on such a stage performance that it was mind-numbing to me. The way that you talked in the one scene in the movie when Frank had the wrong opening song, or whatever your
song TNT.
The one you wanted, and he kept putting the wrong one on. You're like, dude, am I coming out until you play the right song?
Oh, what a prick.
Yeah, you're right. Well, my defense here, like you seen the movie I said, I'm like Milli Vanilli before there was Milli Vanilli.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because I totally, I know I'm tuned up, I know I can't sing for shit, but I do look good doing it.
Dude, you have costume changes, you have pyrotechnics,
I wish.
Lights, you have sound, you have strobes, you have different color lights, you have the sign up in the back, you introduce your fucking band. Like, I've never seen a more committed act than a one-man show introducing his band when there's nobody standing by the keyboards, but you sell that shit like there's somebody standing by the keyboards. I don't know how that's possible, but I bought it. I was all in. I'm like, fucking a keyboard guy. Let's hear it.
Matt, this is so great, man, because we've never had a conversation about this with anyone other than just us and Pat, who did the film. Like, there's really very few people in this circle that, like, the behind the scenes of what really goes on and, like, talking about and analyzing it. It's just it's really cool, man. So thank you again. This is great.
Well, Matt, to just say one thing is that Frank's right. With me, you're not sure what you're going to get. It depends. And sometimes I got set list, I'm ready to go, I want to follow it. But to be honest, by the way, go back up to the song thing. I did write and perform my own song I wrote. You didn't see the whole entire movie. It's called Lightning Days. It's a song I recorded with my mom's brother, who is a professional recording artist.
Okay.
And he's a professional keyboardist. He's been playing music forever. He does like his own CDs. So he's one of the lightning days with me and helped me. Actually, and our song coming out soon. I worked on already.
What's it called? What's it called? Mrs. Claus hand jobs. Sorry, you might want to cut that out. Actually, please cut that out. So
no, seriously, and no. Shut up, Frank, for a minute.
That's what really stopped the stutter. You really wouldn't talk about that. But
no, as I was going to say, the song is called "Nieces and Nephews." It's a message to my nieces and nephews.
I love that.
That's my friend Frankie's kids, my sister's kids, my other friend. I can't say his name. He'd go crazy on me. Kids. So it's like a message saying that I want them to know who their Uncle Nick was and what I stood for. And in the song, I have one part that says, I always will be there for you. It doesn't matter where you are. Means if I'm like, I know we all go off surf sometimes. It's ineligible. I know it.
Right.
But I want this song to tell them, hey, you had one cool uncle who could do this crazy stuff and get away with it. It's kind of like the Dirt with Motley Crue, but in lyric form. No, I didn't do none of their stuff. Don't worry, I did not have Ozzy pee on the ground and snoring it. I didn't do that. I didn't do that. Don't worry.
Well, here's what this book was my brother, who was my kid's Uncle Andy, because they never met him. So the fact that you're writing a song about him is phenomenal. So one thing I love about the fact you're writing that fucking song, dude, that is genius, awesome, badass shit, because it just goes into the box of Nick of how you see life differently than most people. That because you have autism, because you grew up with special needs, quote unquote.
Okay.
The expectation is that you wouldn't be appreciative, that you wouldn't be thankful, that you would always feel like life is giving you a bunch of lemons and you have nothing to be looking forward to. But you've turned that shit on its head and you've created this life that, quite frankly, when people listen to this podcast, they're like, I want to know how the fuck I live a Nick Lightning life.
Seriously, my Nick Lightning life is chaotic. So when it was this life, I'll show them how to do it. I got actually a handbook. It's like a step-by-step of how I do it. First of all, you just gotta have a thick skin, flip the bird to people who see you suck, and then start kicking down doors. You cops used to kick down doors, so I know you know how to do it.
That is true. As a cop, I do know how to kick down doors.
Yeah, Matt, to your point, like that's like Pat and I, we've talked a lot. Like, God, I wish I could just enjoy life as much as Nick and every day be the best day, right? I mean, that's what we should all aspire to be. We wake up and take every day as a miracle, right? And that's the way Nick looks at every single day, every step of the way, from even if he's working or he's volunteering or he's even driving to see his sister in Baltimore or whatever, he just maximizes. And we don't know how he does it. And he's the happiest person we've ever met. I mean, no doubt. So,
just say one thing quickly. The reason is, and not many people notice. I mean, Frankie knows it, and I think Pat doesn't even know it either. I have a lot of health issues, and one of it was gout. And one time, I had such bad gout, it was called a super attack, where my knee and my ankle were locked, where I couldn't move or walk. So I was on crutches for 2 months, going up and down steps on my butt, go bathroom, back and down on my butt, going up and down steps. Finally got it to where a therapist could help me. But then 3 months later, we're in my room. My mom's helped me rearrange my room. She says, Nick, there's a red, big blotch in the back of your calf. And she says, does it hurt? I'm like, yeah, it feels like it's knotting up. She says, oh, no. We're calling the doctor. You're going down there right now. So she called the doctor and she said, listen, I want you to see my son right now. Somebody's not right. His battery is blown up, red, hard, and it's like a knotting. All right, we'll see you at 4 o'clock. At this point, I was getting ready to go to my friend Jess Slater's house, who does Elvis, and play with him the next day. But Mom says, no, you're not. You're going right to the doctor right now. I'm going to have him talk to you. So we go there, and the doctor looks. He says, oh, I think it's a DTV, deep vein thrombosis.
Yep, yep.
So, or it might be another, I forget what else he said. But he says, let me confirm with my colleagues who know better than I do. So he comes back and has his long face on him. I'm like, something's not right here. It's, well, you should go right to the hospital right now. Doesn't help. Yes, it looks like you might have a blood clot in your leg. I'm like, what? So my mom says, okay, we're going straight there. So they got me in. They had me on the back. I had 3 hot nurses come in first. I gotta add
you have to add in the hot nurses part, right?
So then all of a sudden, the doctor came and says, all right, what's going on? So they did an ultrasound. And my mom watched them do it. And I asked the lady, what are you looking for? She said, if it's a little light dots, like plaques or get together, that's a clot. So she started at the very bottom of my ankle, worked up about months like this, like you're good. When she got to my calf, all the way up to my upper thigh, she went white-faced.
Wow.
And she's like, and the doctor came and says, it's confirmed. You'd have a blood clot. I'm like, oh, shit.
Jeez.
So she said, all right, there's 2 ways to treat this. I could give you something for it, but this is Eliquis. You see the commercials for that.
Yep.
So I'll take that twice a day for, I think, 3 months. I forget. I can ask my mom through the podcast. Certain rights. So, but I got lucky because through my doctors, I found all these great specialists who are really nice, kind, courteous, compassionate, not jerks. So I just Dr. Skyler that they recommended me to down at the University of Penn. No, sorry, it's Hahnemann. Sorry. So I go there and he says, yeah. He says, so we're going to take this and you got to go for a blood test. I'm like, ugh. So I says, but can I get my doctors? You know, no, you got to go to LabCorp. I'm like, all right. So I go there and I told Mom, no bullshit. I said, Mom, walk in there, arm down, close my eyes and getting this done so I can see where I'm at. I remember doing it, like I said. I was like,
you don't like needles.
I went back to Dr. Freak now. So,
Nick, this is a terribly long, boring story. Can you sum it up?
Yes. So
I fell asleep.
So I went back. The doctor says, you beat it. It's gone. So I beat it. So now I'm good.
This is actually tied into the diva-itis that he has. All right. He does have some things happen, but he's a complete embellisher. I'm not going to say the P word, but look how small. Why are your hands so small? Tell him about that.
Because I got to big something else that you don't have.
No, that's not why. In the documentary outtakes, he says he comes from a family of small hands, which me and Pat were like, what the hell does that mean? And I don't know.
How do you even know that you have a family of small hands? Was it discussed at the dinner table? Like,
yeah, Nick, how do you, he does have small hands. Like I have small hands and his are smaller than mine. I don't know why. So.
Well, small hands are good for a lot of things.
Oh, good, Nick. Yes, great.
I can't say one. My mom's right there. I can't say one of them.
Jeez.
So, Nick, when you had all these injuries, right, you were telling us about the DVT and how you recovered from that. How does it, as you get older and you're not a spring chicken anymore, you're at the upper end of the rock star touring days, unless you're Mick Jagger or, one of the all-time greats that are still doing it into their 70s. How do you get yourself prepared for a show? Like, what is your daily ritual, your routine that you go through pre-show, right when you're about to go on? Do you have like a ritual that you do that sort of gives you good luck? And then what is your feeling like when you're performing? Like, how does that feel? So let's start with the preparation stuff.
Well, all right. Well, on game day, as I call it, I go in at 11 a.m. in the morning and I do a run through just to do fine tuning. Then go home. I shower, eat, get my stuff packed up, get back out by 3 o'clock, go and do my sound checks for an hour and a half. just to mess around, loosen up, get it, all the energy, all the nervousness out of my my nervous body. Then about 6, well, I see the doors open at 6:30. That never happens, of course, because it's always like, I go out at 6:45 or 7. I never keep my own times.
Why do you do that? Just to trick people up?
I guess. But the reason, before that, when Frankie gets there, comes backstage at 6:45, checks in with me to see if I'm okay. He says, what are we going to do today? What's the set list? I said, okay, bring my laptop. We go over everything. Then when he says, Nick, just send me my phone when you're ready, and I'll start everything. Usually he does like a monologue. Everybody, please take your seats. We're going to have Nick Lightning out really soon. So I'm backstage, I do like a prayer and meditation before I go. I'm on the steps of the stage, like here's the steps. Yep. I'm on the top step. I'm like, dear God, please watch me. Please make sure I'm safe. Safety for my people who are helping me and my fans. I just meditate for a minute, take a deep breath, then at 7, when I hear that intro, what I'm doing, I go right on stage to that, and I'm like a tiger let out of a cage. But then I just go through the show, and when I'm up there, I don't think enough. I just think, okay, having fun, so I do. Just seeing the smile on people's faces of what makes me do this. And then after the show's over, I go backstage, I tell off and everything, because I'm telling slow like a peg. And Frank says, oh, some people come back to see you. Like, yeah, of course I'm in. So we take pictures, we talk for a little bit. Always pissed off the record people. They want to leave by 9, and they want to leave to 9:30 with me being around. But hey, I only do shoot once a year. So I'm going to maximize as much as I can. Then I go, like Frank says, I'm done my show. I just go on vacation. I just shut down, decompress, put the gear away. Then next year, I start all over again. The process of picking out songs, finding what songs work for me and what doesn't work. If I want to go back in time or before this, there's like a lot goes into it. It's like helter skelter. For the 3 months I rehearse, in the day and the week and the day of the show, it's helter skelter. I'm never home. I'm not ate one dinner with my mom during this whole entire period when I do this. I'm out from 2 in the afternoon to 5 at night. Come home, eat, rest for a little bit, go to bed, do it all over again.
That's a grind, dude. That's a grind.
Hey, it's all for the love of rock and roll. I do it. Like, as Paul Stanley said in an interview, if you do not like what you're doing in life, or you think it's a joke doing what we do, then the joke's on you. Because you are not cut out to be in this life. But if you're a hard-nosed, blue-collar like Frankie is, and myself, worker who just grinds it day in and day out and no stop, and he said in an interview, that's what makes people extraordinary, popular entertainers, because they want to make themselves better, so make the show better, and make the fans be more happier. So I see fans go out that door at the end of the night, smiling and talking and being happy. That's my payment. I did my job. If the day comes that I don't, excuse me, if the day comes I don't do that anymore, I hang them up. Because once the day comes that I cannot entertain them like I used to, or do what I do, the high energy stage shows, then that's it. Because I do not do second class stuff. I'm always first class, A class. And the day there's this one song, never sing on stage. And I told my mom, told my dad, and I told you too, I'm not sure if it's a song called All Good Things Must End. It's by Motley Crue. Their last song they ever wrote before they retired. And the lyrics says, it was a hell of a life, a hell of a ride, and a hell of a good time. That's like their funeral song. That's would be mine too when the time comes when Nick Lane's got to be resting in peace. But I don't say
never gonna do that one.
Hell no.
You're gonna rock until you drop.
Yep. Well, I'll be like that guy Dewey in the Dewey movie with the guy who's the country singer and took all the pills and died on stage. Right. That guy Dewey. That'd be me. Minus pills.
Right. Yeah. Minus the pills, blow, and hookers. So if you had one show that you could say was your very best that you ever did, like the best Nick Lightning show ever, do you remember when that was?
Wow, that's hard. I got a couple thousand of them, I can say. But the one I do remember is the best. I actually have two of them.
Okay.
The first show I ever did in Hawaii, that was awesome. And then my 25th anniversary, we have to top it. That was me seeing the world. All right, I'm gonna be your, gonna be your itch on your body for the next 25 years. So get used to it.
Nice. If you had a dream, who would open up for Nick Lightning? Who would you want to be your best opening act? If you could handpick a band to come open up for Nick Lightning, who would it be?
Hey Frank, want to stay together with me? Because you know what I'm gonna say.
To open for you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, I don't know if we're gonna say the same thing. Let's try it on 1, 2, 3.
Bon Jovi.
All right. I was gonna say Kiss maybe because I know you're a huge Kiss fan. So
growing up. I was every Kiss character for Halloween at one point in time.
That's what I got behind the bar next to Nick's thing.
Oh my
God! Right up here, hanging up here. That's funny, Matt. That's funny that Matt. So Matt was a big Kiss fan. Nick, you hear that?
Really? I didn't know that. It's awesome. Store child, man, all the way.
So Bon Jovi would be your ultimate opening act.
Yeah.
Obviously, they would open for you. You wouldn't open for them.
Well, I'm open for them. They have more scene already than I do.
A little bit.
I think you go that way if you want.
So I know 2020 sucked for everybody. For everybody.
Hell yeah.
I saw that in the video, in the documentary. You did exactly what every other major artist did during 2020. You brought your show into the homes of everybody through video, through live videos. How was that? What was that like? I know it had to be different because you don't have the energy of the fans.
Well, it's funny, Matt, you say that because when I was doing it, my mom was with me while I was setting up this whole entire thing, and she's with me, and I was like, Mom, this is crazy. And I thought the day will come that I have no fans in front of me, no one screaming, no one going to put their devil's horns up for me. So when I sat down and did it and I looked at that screen, I was like, this is so surreal. And I'm like, this is so crazy. It's like, I never in my million years that I thought that this would happen. And it could be a lot of blames for how it happened, how I didn't stop. But I'm not going in that, and that's not me. I don't do politics or anything like that. I'm not.
That's probably smart.
Believe in that. Yeah. So
Nick, just to jump in on that one though, the show that was pretty intense because he had never done that, obviously, and there were all the comments popping up. I think we may have had 500 people at one point, and word was getting around, and there were other people doing it too locally. Aside from the artists doing it, the mainstream artists, but there were other local DJs and things, and everybody had things to do. And this was was it 8 o'clock at night on a Saturday? It was a pretty tough spot. And he had a lot of people, and he's trying to answer questions. He's responding to people's questions, but there's a delay on what he's doing and what he's seeing. And then people were dropping off because they're all the bugs really weren't worked out too well. There's probably something you could pay for to have the highest level, whatever, for the Facebook Live, and he had to do kind of you get kicked off after 30 minutes or whatever. So it stopped at one point. It kept going. It was a lot. It was very challenging, and he nailed it, man. I mean, it was awesome. He did a lot of requests, and I was surprised how well that came together. But to your point, man, he's a rocker. He's got to give the people what everybody else is giving them. He's got to keep the appetites there for his fans. So good stuff.
And he's right. It was tough. And I remember going to my friend Pat's house. He gave me the cat. There was actually my setup, and there's a camera. You can't see it. There's a little cutout camera kind of thing that he uses to do small stuff. On this side, on me, recording me. Pat had to call me the day of the show and give me a tutorial how to set the damn thing up. I think, Nick, and you know Pat. He's like, Nick, you see a bright light in your face. Yeah, it's running me. What the heck? So I sat there. I'm like, all right, this will be interesting. So my mom came down a couple times with the phone. And she was FaceTime my sister so she could see it. Like my sister does not, and my brother-in-law do not believe in social media. But I didn't do, and I was assuming at first. I know it was on Facebook because
You got kicked off, actually.
No. I got kicked off.
Yes.
Yes.
You got banned from Facebook.
No, I got banned from there.
Shit right there, dude. That is rocker shit right there.
He got banned for like cursing somebody out because they talked about the Flyers or something. It was like 10 years ago or something.
No.
Like Motley Crue crashing a hotel.
Yeah.
No, Frank. It was America Online. So remember. So one guy got to say, Flyers are a bunch of deadbeats. So that set me off.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I was wild I was wild back then. I was wild.
Oh yeah, you were something, Nick. You were something back in the days.
No, I still am, brother. You know that much.
So Nick, let me ask you this: when you guys go out, you and Frank go out, and you're with Pat or whoever else is in the crew, the Manayunk Roxborough crew, and you guys go to a bar, what's it like? Who's the center of attention in that group? I know Frank. Frank is kind of like a wallflower. He likes to watch and see what's going on. Who's the center of attention?
I am. Yeah, because after my shows, I'll go to the Henry James Saloon, all dressed up, because they're the ones who like tell me I'm a joke. So one day I walked with my dad, my uncle, my aunt, and Frank was there. And it was Trump anniversary. Oh, here's a good one for you. The night I met Bon Jovi, the night we met him, this big thing, like all these big donors, $1 billion donors there. Here's little me who does have $2 to his own name sometimes. So Frankie talked to the guy. He'll try that probably better than I can remember it. He says, well, he offered us to stay and have $1,000 dinner with him. Like, yes, I did. I want to get Henry to shove in their faces. So we went to Henry James and had like a pizza that only cost $5.
Yeah, Matt, that I had to pay for. So yeah, Matt, we passed up $1,000 a plate. Okay, dinner down at what hotel was it? It was the biggest hotel in Philly.
It was the Marriott.
He was having the 30th anniversary of the Soul Foundation party. That's where this all went down, and cocktail hour was insanely amazing. Mm-hmm. And then they're like, "Oh, we're bringing you to the next floor, and we're gonna have this dinner." And we're like, "Oh, yeah." He's like, "I'd rather go to the bar. Come on." And he's like nagging me. I'm like, "Are you serious, Nick?" And we did. So it was. Once again, an expensive night for Frank. But Nick did get me out of a ticket that night, which was awesome.
Oh, okay.
How'd that happen?
I'll tell you right now. Well, I'm still in the crowd nine. I just met my hero, my idol, the guy I did this for. And Frankie's driving. So you know where St. Hall is?
Yep.
You know that one, like you come down
the parkway where all the flags are, like right there.
So, do you know the two lights back to back?
I know exactly where I went through a red light there the other day.
How about it?
That's the same one. So a cop comes behind them, and I'm like, Nick, don't say a word. I'll handle this. So he calls us. He says,
"Never listen to me." Go ahead.
So the guy says, "Sorry, nobody pulled you over." He says, "No, officer, why?" He says, "Well, because she ran the red light." And, "Oh, I'm sorry, officers, but my friend here just met his idol Bon Jovi. He was excited. I was excited, and I just didn't think for a moment. By accident, went right through the red light." So he looked at me and says, "Is that true, sir?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "I'm still like shaking, officer, and on cloud nine."
It was great.
Yeah, he let us go. Got a warning. Be careful. You're good to go. Oh, and congratulations, man, you're a hero. I said, "Thanks, officer, very much."
How about it?
The perks of hanging out with a rock star.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Yeah, Frankie, tell him about Valucci. I got him out on one night.
How you got into what?
Valucci. Remember I got him out of trouble?
Oh, yeah. He's gotten some of our other friends out of stuff just by like talking his way out of things and stuff. Like he's he's super likable, right? And he's polarizing and people like gravitate towards him. And he's good. He's kicking bullshit and everything like that. But I wanted to share this story with you, Matt. It made me think of the one thing Nick failed to mention when we go out. Like he's just talking about after the concert, which sometimes there's like a handful of folks we go with together to celebrate. But when we go out, it's just him and I. And Nick has one mission when we go out, and it's to try to pick up a girl. Every time we go out, he is hitting on every girl, every bartender, waitress, girl that walks by, anybody sitting anywhere. He will go up and talk to anybody, and he has game. He's very, very good at it. He just comes up with things right on the spot, and he always makes girls like smile and blush and stuff like that. So that's always how how he's been, how he will always be. But before I let him share a little bit more of that, one of the first experiences with my girlfriend at the time, my wife, apparently, I don't even know why she would be my wife after this story. But so Nick, back in like the early, maybe end of 99s or whatever it was, 98 or whatever, he would hang out with us, and a couple of my buddies were getting married at the time, and the bachelor party thing, strip club, typical, whatever. Nick, I want to go. Okay, you can go with us, Nick. Okay. So we go to like a strip club or whatever, and the bus driver, we have a bus of guys, like 20 or 30 guys. And like Nick starts like wigging out. Like when we get there, he's like, I'm not getting off this bus. He's like, I am not going in there. The devil's in there. I'm like, what? What? He wouldn't get off the bus. Everybody's like, dude, get your buddy off the bus, man. Like not everybody even knew him. And the bus driver's like, man, I'm leaving. I'm coming back in 3 hours. Get him off the bus. I'm like, Nick, get off the bus. And literally it was like pulling a kid into like kindergarten on the first day. Like, I'm like, Nick. And then like finally we're in line. He's like, I'm not doing it. It was like this back. And we finally calmed him down. Okay, I'll go in. We go in. Next thing you know, he's coming up to me like every 2 seconds. Can I have another 20 for a lap dance? And he's of course. All right. So all that stuff goes down, right? Oh my God, it was a great time. Has the best time of his life. Okay.
And plus the stripper quits that same night too.
Oh, and he got a stripper to quit. Like all guys hope strippers will quit just for them. So apparently he got a stripper to quit, right? So I've also got many strippers to quit. I want to tell you that.
Well, I tell the story on that one. Well, the story on that one is that Matt, well, he is right on everything. Except for the part that I did not ask for $20. Oh, they said, give me one lap dance.
I'm sorry, was it $50? There was more lap dances going on with you, and we all know there's dust in your wallet. All right, we all know it.
Fine. Well, fine. Let's not go over.
Hold on. Let's not get into any other story in the strip joint because your mom's probably going to hear some of this. So let's drop it. The reason why I'm telling this story is this is just before I had met my wife, my girlfriend then, and literally. I met her one night at the Manayunk. It was our first date, right? And I'm like, what better thing that I can do than to have her meet Nick, right? Was I being like a little shallow? Like, yeah, she's going to think I'm such a great guy. Like, I figured if she meets Nick too, she's going to be like, oh my God, like she's going to like me even more, whatever, right? And Nick's just an awesome dude anyway, right? So Nick's at my condo and I picked her up and we were going to do something. I'm like, hey, I want you to meet a real special friend of mine. He's in my house, we're best friends, blah, 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 whatever. And I tell her the story about me and him. And she didn't know him or anything. So we walk in to my condo and, oh, hi, Nick. And they hug and everything. And how you doing? And he goes, so did Frankie tell you that he forced me into a strip club last week? That's the first thing he says to her. He doesn't even ask her anything else. What's your, like, nothing. What's your name? Where are you from? Nothing. Did he tell you about the strip club? I'm like, he's not really, I had no idea what to do. I'm like biting my tongue. I'm like, that's not really what and she's just kind of like looking at me and him. And like, it was not a good night. It was not a good night. That's all I can tell you. And then, he admittedly is what are you?
C block.
The C block. Okay. He's not going to say, and that's what he is. That's what I'll always be. And he's like, listen, that's just who I am. So if something happens to your wife, I'm going for it. Right. Like, that's what he tells the neighbors. He tells every guy. And I tell the guys, I'm like, listen, it is what he is. So like, he'll be your best friend, but I think he's going to go for it if he has the chance. So
don't leave a window of opportunity.
Right. He's an opportunist.
Well, I am in somewhat opportunist, but
anyway, that was something I don't want to interrupt. Let Matt kind of go where he was going. I just wanted to jump in to tell that because I think it's a great story. It like defines our relationship. Like, even though, like, we love each other no matter what, and it was just like, man, and we also stick it to each other whenever we can. And we just like, That's what makes it go. Like we bust each other's balls when we're out. We're meeting when he's trying to talk to the girls in the bars and all that. If you want him to expound on that a little bit, but it's just like it never gets old. We make people laugh together. We're like a comedy act together when we're out, and it's just like I'm in such a comfort zone around him, and he's always in a comfort zone. So
it's funny. When you're talking about it, it took me back to the week before my brother died. We were down at the beach in Delaware at Rehoboth Beach, and I met a girl the first night. And you were there for a week, and she was there for the same week. So it was like a great week. I met this girl, Erin. Yeah. And that night that I met her, we sort of just were playing volleyball or wiffle ball, whatever, on the beach we were doing that night and off the boardwalk. And the next night we hooked up again, and we're out hanging out, going to the arcade. And my brother's, of course, with me the whole time. And we're playing wiffle ball, and I'm flying a kite, and my brother's like hitting on her the whole time. And then we go to she's like, do you guys want to go get some pizza or something to this pizza joint? I'm like, yeah. And I'm trying to get my brother to go home. Right. I'm like, dude, I think it's time for you to go home. And she's like, no. I want Andy to come too. And I'm like, fuck. Oh. Right? So we sit down, and I sit down next to her, and she goes, I think Andy should sit here. Oh, I'm like, motherfucker. Right. So I sit down, and we're ordering, slices or whatever, and I order pepperoni pizza. And he goes, this is my brother. He's Matt. Pepperoni makes you fart. Oh, like it came. I'm like, did he just fucking say
that? Is awesome.
Did my brother just throw me under the pepperoni gives you gas and you're gonna fart around this girl? Like,
hell yes.
My brother, talk about cock block. Jesus Christ. My brother totally threw one in front of me. And
that's awesome.
It was just that story just took me back to that.
Oh, that's cool, man.
Yeah, awesome. That's
memories of my brother.
Phenomenal.
Well, and from what I can see, that you and your brother were very much best friends.
We were.
And me and my sister are the same way. My sister, speaking about family, my sister has always fought my battles with me too. She's been there for me through thick and thin, and she's seen the good, bad, and the ugly, like Frank has with me a couple times. But she's like your brother. She's be there for me. I'll tell you a story, and I think I told you this one, Frank. I got about a couple months ago, I was having some serious health issues with my shoulders, my neck, my wrist. My joints were so inflamed, I couldn't do nothing. So one night, I'm taking all this crazy medicine, like prescription medicine, and what was helping was hindering. So the week this happened, I had severe dizzy spells, headaches. I felt like I was on high on something, seriously. So one night, and my mom could tell you the story too, is that when I'm go to bed, I'm fine, nothing's wrong, I'm good, I go up and lay down. All of a sudden, I started like, whoa, something's not right here. And I'm getting real paranoid with myself, because no one's home, I'm by myself. My mom's 2 hours away with my sister watching the kids, and my family. God love them. Oh no, yeah, we'll be there for you. Yeah, they don't answer phones. I could have been down with a heart attack and no one gave a crap. But my mom, God love her, she sat up all night in bed, holding me from her bedroom all night long, keep me calm. She stayed on me till 4 in the morning until I finally passed out. And then we hung up. At 6 o'clock, I felt it like really bad. I was going to throw up and not right feeling. I thought I was going to have a heart attack. I was about to call someone to me to the hospital. I was so scared. So I saw that Nancy had dizzy spells. I managed to get downstairs. Then my recliner was right over there. And my mom calls me in the morning. Nick, I says, no, it's not good. I'm still feeling lousy. At the same time, unbeknownst to me, my sister had migraines. She and me had migraine issues. You think?
Right.
So she was off for work that day. So my mom says, I gotta go home. I gotta go home. See you next okay for a couple hours. Come right back down. The sister says, no, I'll take the baby. We'll go up. We'll get them together. We'll bring him back down here so you can monitor him.
So your sister came and saved you.
Yes, my mom, my sister. My sister could not sleep all night long because of her headaches. Didn't sleep all night because the baby woke her a couple times. Drove up 2 hours back and forth for me, for mom to keep my mom's mind at ease.
Yep.
That's how
what family
much.
does, though. That's what family does. They take care of each other.
That's how much I love my mom, love my sister, because they are the both that always, and Frankie, Baluch, everybody I mentioned in this video, I always kept on the bat for me and been there for me to help me. And even tell you this one, since we're on the subject, I had a surgery done on me. I had a little small surgery, would say.
Was this the transgender or?
No, it wasn't, you piece of crap. No, but I was really scared. I didn't like needles. I was so nervous. So the night before the surgery, I called Frankie. And I'm like going to spaz crazy. Frank says, come up here and talk. At night, the kids had to go to bed. His wife had to go to work next week. But I said, no, come up, we're going to talk. I went up and talked. He calmed me down. His wife came down. I love his wife. I think his wife is one of the greatest people I know. One of them are the two greatest people I know in my life. And they both sat with me for felt like an hour or longer to me. I said, Nick, you'll be just fine. You're gonna go to sleep and wake up and you'll be brand new. And they helped me get me through that.
That's the best part about, this relationship that you and Frank have, is that you guys can bust each other's balls. He can tell you got a transgender surgery. You can give him the finger. He can say you're a cock block, that you hit on all the girls. You'd probably steal his wife if anything happened to Frank. All that can be true. And yet you can still have this beautiful friendship and brotherhood where no matter what, and that's the best part about having someone that close to you, that there isn't anything that can break you apart. Like there isn't anything that Nick could do to Frank or Frank could do to Nick that would make your relationship different than what it is. You could get pissed off. I get pissed off with my best friends all the time. It doesn't mean I don't love them and I'm not going to ultimately do whatever is necessary for them. But you have those moments where, sometimes they piss you off or get on your nerves, and that's just life. But it's the beautiful connectivity that you guys have that I think makes your relationship so special. And especially the fact that, it all started from a hockey game, 25, 30 years ago, where Frank just said, you know what, he's on my team and everybody leave him the fuck alone. And they fought for you. And even though you started some shit because you like to run your mouth and talk shit, they still had your back, even though you probably needed to get, checked into the boards. But besides the point, I love the fact that, you said you do one show a year with Nick Lightning, right?
Yeah.
And it's exhausting, right? It's something that it just takes a lot out of you.
It does. It's like, during my 10th anniversary, you saw the movie, you saw the brace on my knee. And I explained it to where I may have slept on and upset my bone chip in my knee.
But you still got up that day and dominated your show.
Yes. It was really hard that the movie did not show, which if you all watch the actual footage of my concert video, you'll see me with a pill bottle in the back dressing room. It's my Aproxin.
Naproxen, yeah.
And I took
not
it.
Not oxy.
Yeah, holy shit. I'm like, wait a minute, he took oxy?
No.
Which is why it was such a great show.
No, but seriously, I sat back there, I took one. I was hurting like hell, but when I got on that stage, felt that crowd, felt all my friends there, my loved ones there, I said, all right, Nick, man up. Man up, it's time to go. And that all the time, I ran around the stage, like, just, then that's like, back to my mom, back to singing to my mom for a minute. This all started because if the people doesn't notice in the movie about me, I think this scene I would forget, but after all the years of touring and everything I've been doing, it gets you, it burns you out. And in the 2004, 2005, I was burnt. I was like totally fried. I don't want to do this anymore. And on August of that 2004 year, I announced to the world in a press conference, I am retiring. I'm done to scrap. My favorite shows come up and that's it. But At that time, I was such in a bad state, in a bad mindset. I just did not have good shows. I just didn't care anymore. On July 22nd, on a hot day up at Kendrick Rec Center, all my friends were there. I got so upset, and I threw the drumsticks right at the drum kit and stormed off. Frank had to come back and get me. He said, Nick, stop being a jerk. Got there and finish that show. And I did, and I left. Now, fast forward 2 years later. And then I did a couple movies, short films with Pat. So, August in 2007, I was in my room for a hockey game, and I saw this show called Mission Man Band. There's these little fairy boy bands. They're making a supergroup. And I was like, yes. I got my phone. I'm like, no matter. Hey, get my gear. I'm coming back. Get ready. Click.
Fucking ain't right.
And then within 2 days, I'm back up there. I'm boom, 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 playing. And I was getting ready. And then on 2020, then 10, something. It was I think it was 20. It was December something of that show. Like 2007, I came back out, and my friend Charles Hart, who's another entertainer, who just totally fell off the grid years later. I didn't see him that much. He opened up for me, so we did some songs together, and there's a song by Chicago. I'm a big Chicago fan too. This whole year's an inspiration. So I got to brainstorm of doing it for my mom that night. But she gave my inspiration. She kept me from going completely straight down. So fast forward to the Trump anniversary. Frank or told me before the show, before people got there, said, Nick, are you going to sing your mom? I was like, yeah, I was going to do it. It's in the set list. Again. All right. Wanted to re-coordination of what you did in 2007. So we got a chair. I said, well, we're going to do this different. So I woke up stage, I got my acoustic guitar in the chair, put it on, and I did 2 songs off stage. So it's at the point of the show, Frankie winks at me like he knows, all right, he's letting me know it was time for the song. So I told him on before time, but act like surprised. So I walk off stage, and I say, Mom, come up here, sit with me. I got something for you. And I look at her, and I start singing You're in Spain. We all bawled our eyes. Frank was bawling, grabbed I lost it. I was tearing through my glasses. It's very emotional. And she was like, just tapping my leg like this with me. And that's all the shows and all the crazy stuff I pulled in my career. They were the 2 most beautiful moments of my life on that stage. And then we hugged. My dad who never cries. He's like a tough man. He would let go. I swear, God, it was like a tear fest in there. That's how touching it was. And then I sang Angie by the Stones on the acoustic right after it. And then she songs that night made me feel more alive than anything. This documentary is great because I love it for what it shows me doing. Like Frank said, you can't put all of it in this one documentary, everything I do. But to me, family's everything. Well, family, what are you? Nothing. Like, because you have your brother beside you, you have your wife, your kids. Frank has his wife, his kids. I got my mom, got my sister, my family. Well, all them, who are we? Just lost souls, I say. So
that's a great way to end this show, man. I love that. I love that you ended with that story about your mom. And
it's damn true.
I love you. I love what you stand for. I love Nick Lightning. I love your world that you live in is the world everybody should want to live in. Frank, why don't you tell everybody what the plan is with the film? Do you have like a timetable when you think that's going to be out?
Yeah, so it's we're still trying to get some permissions in place with some of the things that we have in the film related to Bon Jovi. So hopefully we'll get those permissions. I think we would have had them by now had it not been for the pandemic and their whole world stopping. So we're just waiting on that. And then right now we don't know if we're going to do like the festival route, if we'll just kind of maybe throw it out onto Amazon or something. But we definitely want to share it with special needs communities. We think it's a film for anyone. It's universal. It has the messaging there about, just being positive, being kind, living in the moment, and just having gratitude. And Nick is a wonderful example of gratitude. So, yeah, still to be continued, whether we'll make it into a longer film. Does it work? Like even having Nick in a scripted capacity doing something? I don't know. I think all that we're open for any of that stuff. And I think it works with Nick. There's just so much more to him and his world than we were able to put into that short doc. So hopefully we'll have an opportunity with someone to do that.
Oh, and I want to add one thing. If people want to know what I'm up to, they can go to my Facebook page, Nick Lightning on Facebook.
You read my mind, dude. That was my next question.
And if people want to know what he looks like without his shirt on, picture George the Animal Steel.
Right on.
And when I mic'd him up a couple years ago for the
oh my God,
probably the greatest moment of my life. I put a big strip of duct tape across his chest with a mic on it. Best moment ever, because I knew that thing was going to come off, and it was just awesome to think that he was going to have to rip that off later that night.
Well, listen, hang tight, guys. I want to close out the show. First of all, Nick, I love you, man, and I appreciate you being on the show and doing the honor of sharing this time with me and my listeners. I'm going to be in your corner. I'm going to be helping Frank when the movie comes out. I have a lot of friends out in Hollywood that I'm going to help spread the word and get your story the attention it deserves. All I ask from you in return, dude, is stay being you.
Yeah, and I got one request from me to you.
What's up, bud?
I would like if you everything we discussed for Frank on that you would upload this, send a link to Frankie so I could send this on the Facebook so people could see you, give you some love, give us all love. So would it be okay if we share this on my social media page?
Absolutely. You'll get this tonight, brother.
Cool. And I'll upload it tomorrow, and then we'll just let the world see how much fun the three awesome dudes had.
Awesome. I love it. Hang tight. We're going to talk off air. I'm going to close out the show. Thank you, everybody, for listening to this episode of the 2 Dates in the Dash podcast. I'm Matt Cubbler. Once again, thank you to the amazing Nick Lightning. If you get a chance, go to his Facebook page, follow him, watch his concerts, go back and watch some of his old videos. And, the world is a better place with Nick Lightning in it. And thank you to Frank Petka for the work he's doing with his video and for his friendship with Nick and me for all these years. And I love you all. God bless, and go out and be kind to one another.